Hello, everyone. Welcome to ALR Season 10, and this is our fifth season now of doing this shtick. And Alex, my favorite part of the year, I think, this is the driver draw. This is probably my I love it. I love the wheels. I think we should just do this every race, personally. But goodness me, I'm sure you don't want to have that. But how are you doing, my good man?
I'm all good. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to season 10, and of course, it's the fifth year. Blimey, a fifth year of ALR in total coming up, so it's looking forward to being an exciting one, and it's going to be epic, I think.
It certainly is as well. Of course, far thought it was the 10th year of us doing it, as I think I sent a message in bronze earlier on, but never mind.
It feels like it. It feels like it.
Oh, it certainly does sometimes, gosh. But anyway, yes, season 10 then. So, of course, we will be doing gold, silver, and bronze. Then, of course, gold then will be on season 10. Bronze and silver have been going for 7 seasons, which is quite shocking as well. I'm looking forward to all the leagues like I normally do, but I'm really intrigued about a couple of drivers this season. One driver I'm very intrigued about is Brabbitt going up to gold then, and following the footsteps of Troye, who won silver and went up to gold then. Unfortunately, Nigel though had issues last season, didn't he, of going from silver to gold, and then just didn't really capitalize on that. What are you thinking about this season coming up?
I'm looking forward to seeing the promoted drivers, especially sort of competing, really, just to see what they can do. I think they'll be they'll be definitely scoring big points. I think they'll be quite capable of getting some good points in gold. The likes of B Rabbit and Tango, and of course further down the order in silver, the likes of TK, Irish New Potato, and Vessia into silver as well. So from bronze, that is. So yeah, I think the ones to watch, to be honest, and I think they can compete really well in these in the new division, in the higher division that they were in before. And I'm excited actually to see how they're going to fare.
So am I, and TK has actually had success in the past as well in silver. Just looking at our stats, and TK is looking very strong going into the new season as well. No, I'm not going to say it. TK for promotion? Yeah, let's go for it. I say it in the reviews. I say it all the time. But I do think TK is going to be certainly in it to win it for silver. And of course, in bronze as well. I must say, bronze is looking very intriguing. We have got some drivers that have really stepped out and showed what they're made of last season. Of course, we got the new hot shoe in terms of Jay Hings and making his second season with bronze then, but of course he was reserved most of last season. We got Kiki, who really shown some potential as well with 2 Grand Prix wins last season. Winnie is kind of Jekyll and Hyde, really. Winnie is. He's either really quick or kind of in the midfield. So I wonder if Winnie might be able to stabilise his performances for next season as well. And of course, I think that we got the old hand of Marsky as well, 2 Grand Prix wins, and of course a former runner-up as well in bronze. Goodness gracious me, I keep saying it every year about Marsky, and I'm hoping I'm right this time, because he does seem to have pace, but he has struggled since the ground effect era has come in then. So those 3 championships are going to be fantastic. Unfortunately, we have lost Formula 2 this year, which I'm devastated by. I love a bit of Formula Woo. However, Alex said it's one discipline which you brought in to ALR a few seasons back then. 2 seasons back, and then it's returning as well. It's the 100% realistic league then. What is that entailed then, and how challenging is it going to be for the 20 drivers?
Well, it's like I said, it's the part of the event league. It's the inaugural event league in ALR that was as well, the 100% distance league, and that is literally racing the full race distance, and it can be quite grueling indeed. You've seen it from your own eyes, but no, I think the 100% league actually it's really good in terms of improving concentration, consistency over a season, and I think we saw that with in the first season of the 100% league with Jinna, who of course was competing in that league in part of the event league as well, and competing in bronze, and then won the title. So I think it can help in terms of translating the successes or just the concentration and the ability over to your 50% races as well. So I think there'll be a few candidates potentially in the 100% league that will be improving in their league races as well, in their league divisions also, which is always good to see.
And of course, this is the second season we're running on Formula One 2010. 2010, gosh, 2023. I watched the season review the other day. I'm so thrown by it. And this is going to be our second season on F1 2023. I've noticed then that a lot of the lap records got broken last season as well, which I was quite surprised by. Of course, we had a lot of track changes, didn't we? Of course, Singapore, for example, where they took out 4 corners, which Singapore is not on the calendar this year, which is going to be a bit odd as well. There's a couple of other tracks which are not going to be on the on the calendar either. But before we go into that calendar, I'm talking about just talking about the second season syndrome. Then drivers have really start to find their groove in the second half of the season. The likes of Gurman, the likes of Kiki, just to name a few. Percy was quite strong all the way through it. I think Troy had flashes of brilliance towards the end there. Boxstyle also started to really show some muscle as well in gold. What are you thinking about then going into that second season? Then drivers don't need to find their feet anymore. They're going to be straight on it from the get go. Is that what you're expecting?
Yeah, I think it'll be a flying start, especially in the shorter season that we've got this season as well. It's going to be put your foot down and go as fast as you can from the get go. I think, like you said, there's a lot of people who've now completed the learning curve of adapting to the new cars in the first season, and now it's going to be, like I said, straight from round one on the mark, on the money, and away we go.
And we certainly are. And of course, it's a shake up of a calendar as well. We are going to be starting in Britain for the British Grand Prix round 1, which is very much a flashback to 1950. Goodness gracious me, I can almost remember that. So the calendar is looking very good indeed. Only 18 rounds then, which is the shortest calendar, or joint the shortest calendar since season 1. Then, so drivers then who might struggle to find their feet in the past then in like the longer seasons, they're going to really struggle, aren't they? We've been nattering on for 11 minutes now, Alex, and everyone wants to probably just get on with the draw, but I do love a good natter. Goodness me, then, of course, we've got the wheels coming up, then we'll go through all 3 championships. It will be the wheels for the teams, then the wheels for the drivers, and we'll just draw them as we go then. So 1 team, 2 drivers, 1 team, 2 drivers, of course, if you get that shtick and all that kind of stuff. We've been doing it for 10 seasons, haven't we, more or less? So, yeah. Right, on with the show, I say. And of course, before we get into the draws, we're going to just quickly talk about the realistic performance 100% championship, which is going to be coming up this season. And we've got 10 teams, believe it or not. It's going to be challenging for the realistic performance. Alex, what does realistic performance mean then? I don't understand. Could you elaborate a bit more for me?
Yeah, it's just basically down to the performance of the car, as close as Codemasters can match it to real life, I suppose. So, for example, the drivers in the Red Bull will be the slower drivers on the grid, for example, so that it can match up. Those in the AlphaTauris, the Williams, that sort of thing, will be the faster drivers, and that way, hopefully, it will balance out the grid a bit more, and hopefully, it will make it for some entertaining racing as well for the 100% League too.
I must admit, I'm just having a look at the driver lineup. Goodness me, in front of me, and I gotta say, it's really whetting my appetite here. We got a couple of really good, interesting lineups there in the AlphaTauri and the Williams, and I'm also intrigued because we got a mixture of gold, silver, and bronze drivers in the 100% as well. Plus we've got a couple of others which are also very good with the 100%. I'm looking at Kaidal, for example, who came in and was supreme in the 100%. Of course, Martin as well, who came in as well. Could you pick an early favourite, Alex? Who are you thinking about? That's going to really do well in the 100% this season.
I couldn't pick out anybody, to be fair. I think it's going to be quite a challenging division, to be honest, because I think the skill gaps will be sort of negated, I suppose you could say, by the balances of all the different cars. And I think it's going to be very close indeed. So I'm looking forward to it getting started. Really, I'm not going to fall down the rabbit hole there that you've just tried to put me in with picking out a champion already. So I'll leave it there.
damn it. So that's the problem, you see. You're too smart for me. That's why I get far from the go normally. He normally throws down that hole. Smithy doesn't either, unfortunately. Of course, before we get into the driver draw as well, then, which is coming up in just a jiffy, we've got admin changes as well. Alex is now the head steward for gold. Smithy Almighty is still the head steward for silver. And of course, Farf is going to be the head steward for bronze then. So that is the steward in change then. But of course, we did trial the stewards in terms of getting drivers getting involved as well. That is staying the same then. So that is just the only change then in terms of the admin roles. And now on to the bronze draw then. And of course, we got free wheels, as I've got the wrong way around. But of course, we like to keep ourselves on our toes and all that kind of stuff. Look at those 20 drivers there. Goodness gracious me. We have got a who's who, haven't we, of bronze then. And oh goodness me, I always get Disney when we always throw in the draw then. And of course, the first driver off the list then will be Smithy Almighty. And Smithy Almighty, Alex, last season, what did you make of his season? He had 2 podiums, but I did feel that he was going to be a bit higher up. What was your making of Smithy Almighty's performance?
Yeah, I think he had a relatively overall decent season. I think just had the consistency. Just needed to improve a bit on the pace side in certain races. But we'll see what he can do hopefully this season. Paired with Brooksy, I should say.
And goodness gracious me, then, Brooksy, I think another driver that if he gets consistency, I reckon he is going to be in that top 5 that is going to be challenging for the championship. Brooksy is then, because Brooksy has shown flash of brilliance, but he does seem to get lost in the wilderness, doesn't he? Of course, so those are the 2 drivers. So they're going to be partnered, but in what car are they going to be partnered in then? Of course, technically all the cars are the same, but we all like our cars, don't we? And it is the McLaren Mercedes then. And Smith Almighty is staying with the Woken team, so I think I'll be quite happy with the McLaren team. Alex, what do you reckon about that pairing in the McLaren?
Well, I hope he's happy. But no, I think that's going to be a strong pairing. Of course, Brooksy there last season was looking strong indeed in the certain few races. Of course, got the victory in Monza from memory. So hopefully he can push on and get some wins.
And here's the man who's about to reach 200 Grand Prix starts in ALR. That is absolutely ridiculous. Goodness gracious me. Serious Musher with some serious mileage underneath him. He was very quick last season. The only downside about Serious Mushrooms' repertoire was certainly qualifying there, but he has said he's going to be doing some qualifying. And goodness me, it's like 2 peas in the pod. Moving Ninja and Serious Mushrooms seems to enjoy each other's company in the comments. They're going to enjoy each other's company in whatever the car they're going to choose now. Alex, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a good team. I think hopefully, hopefully the Serious Mushroom can get himself out of the garage in the qualifying and get some good points in. It looks like it's going to be for the AlphaTauri team. So there you go, Moomin and Serious Mushroom there in the AlphaTauri then for Bronze Season 7.
I like that team lineup. I really do. They keep me very much entertained in the gold silver streams. Then, unfortunately, not as entertained in bronze normally because they're normally racing, aren't they? So I'll be impressed if they can chat and race at the same time. I can't do that. Coming off the board first, then is Hungry Styles. Styles had a really good start last season. He got a podium as well in the here we go, Azerbaijan. I think it was Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which is not on the calendar this season, is it? Which I find absolutely devastating. Goodness me. But good stuff indeed there for Hungry Styles. And he did dip in form towards the end of the season. And Kiki, goodness me, 2 wins, 3 pole positions, and 8 podiums there. I must say, Alex, and I think that's a very well-balanced team.
Yeah, and hopefully, Hungry Styles can kick on from his season last season. He didn't have his best season overall, so we'll see what he can do. And of course, Kiki, we saw towards the second half of the season, was absolutely on fire. So that'll be fantastic stuff indeed then for the Alpine team.
It is indeed. Of course, Alpine former constructors champions for bronze. And a bit of a mixed bag last season, didn't they? Of course, Dr. Truepots did race for the Alpine team, and got 3 wins. But unfortunately, there was a lot of DNFs there, wasn't it? Scooby Stew was the second driver last season for Alpine, and hopefully in for a better show this time. Vintage is next off the board. Then a driver with bags of experience as well. Vintage, and I always said that Vintage is a driver which I love to have in my team because he's a points collector. Only won DNF last season, which was ironically Azerbaijan. Now, I think you'd be happy that that's not on the on the old calendar this season. Then, but Vintage first off the board then, and it is going to be Scooby Stew as well. Two drivers then who I say solid, if not unspectacular there, Alex. But what do you think the trials and tribulations is going to be for that team? This season for bronze.
I think they've got a good, consistent package there in that team. So we're looking forward to seeing those two paired together. And I think they'll be able to crack on from last season and get some more points than they did as well. And it will be in the Mercedes team as well. So they've got the best bit of equipment underneath them as well, hopefully.
Hopefully, just don't ask Toto Wolff. That's all I say. Goodness me. But of course, I think that's a decent team. Then I reckon they can accommodate each other very nicely. Indeed, then that's a very balanced and solid team lineup. And I'm hoping that both OC drivers can kick on after a tough season last season. Here's our favourite Canadian driver. It's Kaz who's coming off the board. Kaz was a reserve for majority of the races last season. I think he took part in almost every single event: gold, silver, bronze, and F2. Goodness gracious me, a busy so and so. Kaz was last season. It's great to see him back in full time driving as well. So looking forward to that then. And of course, it is Marsky then. Of course, a Grand Prix winner last season, former runner-up in bronze as well. Hasn't hit the heights as we mentioned in the intro. Marsky hasn't, but I've really got my fingers crossed and that he will get himself back to those dizzying heights there. Alex, that's a fairly decent team that is then, but of course, do you think in second season they'll be able to be strong constructors contenders?
Yeah, I definitely think Marsky can kick on, and it's good to see Kaz back on the grid as well for bronze after having a bit of a break from last season. But in the Alfa Romeo, then those two, so that will be interesting stuff to see for the team stake.
I love a steak. Of course, we can allowed to call them steak in like quarter of the. Is it quarter of the calendar? I'm not sure. We have to call them kick for some races, don't we? That's going to be interesting. But that's a season 11 problem, isn't it? Jay Hings is first off the board then, and my goodness me, this man has been fantastic, hasn't he? The super sub for majority this season, slotted into the Ferrari for Austin and onwards, and helped Ferrari claim the constructors championship. Jay Hings did. He is certainly in that gaggle of five drivers at the top of which I think is going to be challenging for the title. And Winnie, now that is an interesting development. There are two Grand Prix winners from last season there. As I mentioned in the intro, Winnie seems to be either really fast or in the midfield. But I think that is going to be a strong team lineup then. And it is for the Williams team as well, Alex.
Yeah, I think Jay Hings is one of the favourites, I think, in bronze next season or this season. Looking forward to seeing what he can do. And Winnie, if he can convert the pace there into consistency as well, he can crack on and potentially get a couple more wins to add to his belt too. So very good stuff indeed for the Williams team, I would imagine.
I'd be very happy if I was the Williams team. Absolutely, really good stuff indeed. Then, and of course, one of the best looking cars on the grid. Then, here's Dynamo Dan. Then, of course, Dynamo Dan, a former runner up in bronze, he had a bit of a difficult season last season, didn't he? Unfortunately, missed majority of the races. I say majority. He started 13 races last season, but really hoping to very much reload and rewind back into the good times of season 6, I think it was, where he was runner up. And FIFA Beefy, a returning veteran to ALR, he's done most of his races in silver, but FIFA Beefy has been very much at the sharp end of the field in silver. But what are you expecting for bronze for those two drivers?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to those two. I think they could be my favourite in terms of the constructors pairing. I'd have to double check that because I don't want to jinx them. But they're going to be in the Aston Martin outfit, so looking good in green then for Beefy and for Dynamo Dan.
The green mean fighter machines. I love it. By the way, we got this recorded as well. So mid the end of the season, if they don't do well, we're pointing at Alex, don't we? So I'm looking forward to that, though. I must admit, Aston Martin does look pretty nice, doesn't it? And I think FIFA Beefy is going to look pretty swell in that one, isn't he? Swan Shanks is next off the board. Swan Shanks, unfortunately, Alex, he only got 1 point last season. That's the lowest point score in the history of ALR. And unfortunately, that was the fastest lap as well. So he didn't finish in the top 10 last season, and Swanshanks had podiums as well in his previous experiences in bronze. And next off the board is Sick as Muck. Sick as Muck really found some form last season. Really good stuff indeed. I think they both were teammates last season as well for the Aston Martin. So Hey, up. Goodness me, what goes around comes around, isn't it? There, but I think Sick as Muck is a driver that I think is going to be challenging for wins this season. Swan Shanks, so who really needs to find some pace in that whatever car he's going to be in, which is going to be the Haas team then, Alex. And they didn't do too well. They was last in the constructors last season. Do you think they're going to finish any higher this season?
Well, like I said, it's nice to have the same pairing once over again. But no, I think Sicker's Buck will really kick on from last season and improve. He did, like you said, start to improve in the second half of the season. So it'll be exciting to see what he can do. And Swan Shanks, I think, needs to turn it around a little bit more. He's got that point for fastest lap, which of course was fantastic. But hopefully he can get some more on the board for the Haas team.
Indeed, then, and I've got to say, Siggs Muck is a robust defender as well. I always clench every time he's getting into battle. I love it. Rocket Lee's a full-blown debut, Alex, and I got to say, I have no idea what to expect from Lee. Then, have you had a sneak peek into the history of that man?
Nope. But I'm excited to see what he can do then in the bronze grid. I think he's going to be a good addition there to the grid as well.
I do love a debut. I do love a debutant, so I'm really looking forward to that. And he will have the guidance of Slayer, who I think Slayer is going to be in that gaggle of drivers challenging for the championship. Slayer had a very, very bad run of form towards the end of the season. They will be driving the Scuderia Ferrari, but Slayer did have a bit of bad luck towards the end of the season with two podiums. He should have got more of Slayer did then, but. Yeah, I think that the Ferrari team will be fairly happy with that. But we got a very unknown driver in terms of Rocket Lee, and then we got two more drivers to come off the board. I must admit, I forgot on what car he got left there, but we got Casal, a former silver driver, then also making a return to ALR as well after he had to step back last season. And of course, the final driver off the board is a driver which I've forgotten who it is, but I can't. Casal's on the way. Oh, Duncan Dave! Good heavens above! Goodness gracious me! And Duncan Dave, another driver, I think that needs to kick on this season as well, as he's had a bit of rotten luck there. The final team off the board, though, Alex.
Is the Red Bull. But no, I think that could be a very good pairing. Actually, I think Duncan Dave or Decanco, wherever you want to pronounce his name, is going to be one to watch as well. And I think paired with can't remember who his teammate is now. Paired with Cassell, sorry, I think Cassell was a bit of a underdog. Then one to watch for bronze in season 7. So looking forward to seeing what they can do in the Red Bull team.
I'm going to forget Red Bull. Goodness me. Perhaps I want to forget Red Bull, especially if it's a sign of last season and things to come as well. If Duncan, Dave, and Casal do anything like Red Bull, then goodness me, they're going to be laughing, aren't they? And there is the 20 drivers that are going to be challenging for bronze season 7 glory. Then, and there in front of us is one of the champions elect. Then I could pick out 10 championship contenders there. I can pick out 10 drivers that I think is going to be very much in fighting form as well. And I can also pick 10 teams that is going to be constructors champions in that one. So there's a spoiler for you all. Up to bronze, up to silver next. Then, Alex, you have the privilege of commentating on silver. How are you feeling for this one this season coming up then?
Well, I think Silver Season 6 was absolutely spectacular. So I think it's going to be a tough ask for the drivers to try and compete with the standards they set last season. But no doubt they can. I'm sure they can as well. And we've got a veteran of Silver then, a returning champion after his difficult season in gold then of Nigel first off the wheel.
Yeah, of course, Nigel, former gold, first ever LR champion, and of course a silver champion as well. Nigel's gone slightly the other way, hasn't he? Unfortunately, where we've had drivers go from silver to gold champions, Nigel's gone from gold to silver. And I've hats off to Nigel for sticking with it because that was a challenging season last season. And he's going to have a bigger challenge this season because he's partnered up with Favre. I'm sure they were teammates a season or two ago, Alex.
Yeah, they were in the Alpha Tauri when Nigel won the championship, and I think that was season 4,
maybe 5.
5, season 5. Sorry, I'm going too far back now. Sorry about that. so
That's all right.
Nigel and Farf then, and they're going to be the first constructor off the wheel. They're going to be in the Haas car as well. So that's Farf's favourite car. So perfect stuff indeed. Perfect pairing there. Gunter is going to be very pleased with that lineup, I think.
Well, if I was good to, I've only produced one of those lineups there, to be honest, and I'm wondering if it's Farf's favourite car because majority of the word that does remind me of Farf sometimes. But anyway, let's move on, shall we? Goodness gracious me, a bit of banter and all that kind of stuff. Right then, off the board next then is going to be Camera Racing. Camera Racer, he has so much speed, Camera does, but in the races. It just doesn't seem to go well for him, Alex, does it? He had a pole position last season, but he did have 12 DNFs there. What can Camaro do then to turn that one lap speed into race winning form?
It can be difficult. I'm hoping that as he's part of the 100% league as well that we saw earlier, that he can kick on and maybe get some consistency then, which will help him in silver as well. Alongside Vessia, of course, the third place from bronze season 6, so promoted, of course, into silver for this season. Looking forward to seeing what he and Kamara can do then in this season. I think Kamara just needs to improve that consistency and can get some big results as well. And I think Vessia, they will be taking the challenge there to the former silver, the standard, the normal silver drivers, I suppose you could say, and they'll both be in the Alfa Romeo as well. Another stake then for you.
Oh, I do love a steak, as long as it's not a cake. And I do think though that yes, Cameron's got because he's got the sheer speed. I do think though that one lap pace is much harder to grasp than the race paces. So I think Cameron's definitely done majority of the work. Vescher looking good. Looking forward to what Vescher can do in silver as well after third position, as Alex said. That Mr. Elite. Then I got a soft spot for Mr. Elite. He's been with us forever and a day. Made his debut in season 1 of Spain then, and I'm really happy that Mr. Elite is gone to silver, and I'm happy that he is starting to thrive in silver as well. With a really good finish in Brazil, but unfortunately, there's a couple of DNFs that he needs to just worm out of his form. Then and Gordo. My goodness me, Gordo. He struggled with the ground effect cars in season 5, I think it was. But last season, he really got to grips with that Red Bull machine. And Gordo was one of my drivers of the season for me. And I think the both those drivers was in the Red Bull last season. So they're partnered again, Alex. Goodness me.
Partnered again, but this time they have switched allegiances to the Mercedes team, it looks like. So not sure what Christian Horner is going to say about that. But again, two very consistent drivers, very clean drivers as well. And they were a great pairing in the Red Bull last season to commentate on as well. It was fantastic. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do in the Mercedes team as well.
I am as well. I do. I think that Gordo is really putting some groundwork for this season. Same with Mister Elite as well. I think those two drivers are going to be regular podium sitters. And Mumford, another driver who's been very much with us from the get go. I got to say, I do think that Silver has a bit of like old school factor about ALR, doesn't it? Well, that's probably why I enjoy it so much. It's great seeing some of these names there still with us. And of course, Mumford then really did well last season. And of course, was a reserve driver right up to Canada and then started to really thrive in that McLaren Mercedes. And it's the champion from bronze, Alex, and TK, who in the second half of last season really tied his shoes up, pulled his socks up, and really started to dominate that bronze championship. Dominate might be a strong word, but he was certainly thriving towards the end of last season then. And I think this season then, of course, now he's got experience under his belt. I think that he's going to be a tough cookie to crack.
That is a great lineup indeed then for the AlphaTauri team as well. So looking good indeed then for the Racing Bulls soon-to-be team. But Mumford there is very consistent, very fast driver as well. And TK, I think he could be on, to be fair, he could be on for a challenge there to potentially get back-to-back promotions. So we'll see what he can do as well in the American.
Yes, and Alex said that. New Potato, a former bronze champion, then New Potato has raced in silver before, but I do remember New Potato really struggled in silver before, but he did have a teammate that didn't help him out too well. We call it Welsh Maldonado, if I remember correctly. Both drivers were so quick in that Williams car a few years ago, but unfortunately, both drivers had issues getting to the line then. So hopefully, New Potato, who I think is a much more rounded driver since when he won this championship there, very much the opposite to Kimi Räikkönen, isn't he, New Potato? I think he's a much stronger competitor these days. And Dopey Lemon said, who was driving the Alfa Romeo last season, Dopey Lemon said very much scored points more often than not then. And he did have 4 DNFs to his name there, but which ain't too bad to be fair. But Dopey Lemons and New Potato, Alex.
Yeah, a great pairing then for the Williams team. I think could be the most consistent pairing. I'm not quite sure. We'll have to wait and see. There's still people to come off the wheel. But No, I think New Potato then with a fantastic season last season just missed out on the championship, and Dopey Lemons there was almost always thereabouts then in most of the races for the big points in the Alfa Romeo. Then second to Dylan, who just come off the wheel here. So great lineup indeed. Then Dylan as well. Of course, he's staying in silver then after, we ran out of space then for him in gold, unfortunately. But hopefully Dylan there can crack on and have a good season once again in silver. He had a fantastic start to season 6 last season. So we'll see what he can do then, paired with sweet MJP as well. So that is a fantastic lineup indeed. I think that's going to be one of my favourites.
Indeed, of course, Dylan out the gate so quickly. It's similar to Vessia in bronze. Two drivers that was so quick to get off the start out of the starting blocks, but they did struggle towards the end. Then I wonder if that might tie over to this season as well. I'm not too sure about that. And of course, yes, Sweet as well. Then unfortunately, the second highest DNFs last season, and so hopefully Sweet can get some more finishes under his belt. Then for the Woken team of the McLaren Mercedes, then that could be a dark horse potentially then for this season. And of course, we got how many drivers got off the board? Oh, goodness gracious me, got about 6, haven't we? Or 8? Gosh, I can't even count. Goodness gracious me, Jinner, a former bronze champion, and goodness me, we got a lot of champions in this championship this season, haven't we, Alex? And Jinner, who scored majority of his points, got a podium as well in his second race there. But like Sweet, he had a lot of DNFs last season.
Yeah, just needs to sort out the consistency. And again, like I was saying about the 100% league at the very beginning, hopefully him being part of that as well will help him sort of sort out that consistency throughout the season as well for silver. And TKM King, who is Charlie King then in the Discord, he's jumping in then for a full-time seat as well. Had, of course, reserved in silver last season at the very end and done a pretty good job indeed in my eyes anyway. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing how they both fare then. And they're going to be in the Aston Martin, it looks like as well. So another great pairing then for the Aston Martin team.
And remember that drivers, we still are using the Joint Constructors Championship as well. So whoever you're partnered with in silver, you're also going to be partnered with in bronze and gold, if that makes sense. I can't remember the team lineups. So goodness gracious me, but you get the cut of my jib, don't you, Alex? You know what I mean. And then the first one off the board for the next spin is Reflections, who has not missed a race in several seasons now. And my goodness me, that man is here or there. He loves ALR, or I like to think so, because he's always here, isn't he, Alex? I love watching Reflections race as well.
No, it's fantastic to have Reflection and drivers like Reflection on the grid, to be honest, because they keep on turning up. Even if results aren't going their way, they keep on plugging away and putting in the performances. And Reflection there, again, struggled at the beginning then of the season, but really started to get some good points there for the Mercedes team, paired with B Rabbit, of course, last season. So, yeah, so he didn't have to do too much work, hopefully, but no, when he did chip in with some good points and pot stuff as well, as he was in the Haas last season, but again scored some fantastic points and finished 4th in the championship. So again, one of my favourites potentially as well in the Alpine as well.
And remember that who finished 4th in the previous season? That was Rabbit. So potentially, is that a spoiler there? That maybe Potstuff could emulate B Rabbit and maybe take the championship this season. And they are driving in the Alpine team then. Reflections and Potstuff. That's I like that. I like that lineup very much indeed. Reflections always gets across the line nicely. And Potstuff, if he can show up in some more races, then he will also be a part of the championship challenge there. Ultimate Beast. I don't want to be too harsh on the man, Alex, but he had a superb season 5 of silver, but he kind of got lost in the shuffle last season. What happened to Ultimate Beast?
I think, like a few drivers there had difficulty adapting to the new cars, but I still remember back to, I think it was Imola, where he had a fantastic win after starting down the back of the field. Then it was absolutely great to commentate on that because there was quite a few new podium sitters then in that race. But hopefully he can get back to the consistent form that he had from previous seasons, alongside Irvine as well, Mr. Consistent then, or another Mr. Consistent, because there's quite a few of them in silver. So that will be a good pairing indeed, and it will be, oh God, it will be for the Red Bull team as well. So a Red Bull team there that's going to be looking strong in silver season 7.
They are indeed, and Irvine has come up from Cobalt right into silver now. I reckon this is his time to shine. I reckon this is his time to really challenge for that championship, and maybe step up and break through that glass ceiling then for Irvine there. But that's a good pairing. And if Ultimate Beast could find his feet and Irvine could break through that glass ceiling, then they could be challengers. And And our final team off the board there is McConey, who stepped into, I can't remember what team. Sorry, the
Williams.
Williams team last season. Thank you very much. In the Williams team last season, and he's now going to be a full blown driver this season. And he got some really good points there, 49 points in 7 appearances there, really good 17. And Craig R, that incredible podium, I think in Imola as well. Alex, there, you were fond of that race there, as we just mentioned with all my beats. Then, so what do you reckon about the final team off the board?
I think, well, like I said, McConey, I think it was his Qatar race, I think it was, where he got himself disqualified somehow in the qualifying. But then through the sprint and the feature ended up in P2 at the very end of all of it. So it was absolutely fantastic from him to see. And Craig R, again, like I said, he's got that consistency already. I think he just needs to improve in some areas to make sure he gets himself into the points paying positions here and there for the Ferrari team. But I still think he's a great top talent, and it's great to have him on the grid as well. So that's a pretty good lineup indeed for Ferrari.
And there they are then. 20 drivers and 10 teams there. A bit like bronze, to be honest, isn't it? But that's what you're looking at there is one of them is going to be champion for silver then. And there's a couple of bronze champions in there as well. The likes of Dylan, the likes of TK. We got some new potato in there as well. Goodness gracious me. We got Nigel, former silver champion as well as a gold champion. There's a lot of champions in there, Alex. And that is going to really help whichever driver is challenging for that championship in silver. Are you going to have a cheeky bet on who's going to win that?
Nope, you're not making me do that.
Damn it. I have an idea, but I'm going to keep stum, I think. On to gold then, and of course this is the final wheel of fortune. And 20 drivers then, and as we heard already there, it's very stacked this year, isn't it? And talking of stacked, here comes Chazza. Chazza, who I think he's a bit like, I can't remember I mentioned earlier on, but very much like a reverse Kimi Räikkönen, where his performances are much more impressive than what they were when he first started, where Chazza did finish 5th in the championship a few seasons ago then. But I think he's really started to really find his groove then. And the silver champion, Brabant then. I was speaking to Brabant then over Discord over the New Year period then. And he is very nervous, I think. There, I probably shouldn't have said that, really, should I? Goodness me, he's never going to talk to me again. But I have said then that remember the other silver champions, the likes of Troy, who really kicked on and incredible there. Because remember, Troy, when he first started in a gold, then was kind of more of a midfield runner, and he came to become a world champion. Then. And they're driving for the McLaren team then. So that is Chazza and Brabant, Alex.
Yeah, great stuff indeed then for both of them, I think, because or both for McLaren, I should say, because like I said, Chazza with the consistency went a bit under the radar, I think, but actually was one of the drivers that actually just performed week in, week out in gold last season. And B Rabbit then the pace, the championship winning mentality, then coming up into gold. Looking forward to seeing what those two can do then in the McLaren.
That's a very good point about Chazza, because Chazza scored 106 points last season, and he didn't get a podium, and he only had a fast lap and a driver of the day, which I think is very harsh indeed. Because Chazza definitely very much one of those drivers that just gets the performance out of the car, doesn't he? And Brabant, then how is he going to? Is he going to stick himself into the mix for the championship? Is he going to be a thorn in the side then for Chazza going on to next season? And of course, next off the board, then we have Nameless, who was a super sub for the Mercedes team last season, finished 20th in the championship, but that was a bit of an unfair reflection there for Nameless. And who was the other? Mr. Raging Bull also off the board as well. Goodness me, I need to pay attention, don't I? And they're both throwing for the Aston Martin team. I'm giving a fair reflection of Nameless, Alex, but I think he's been solid, if not spectacular, and he has finished every single race he's participated in gold. And Mr. Raging Bull, that famous pole position in Monza a few seasons ago, but decent team lineup, do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Mr. Raging Bull back at it again properly as well. And of course, Nameless in the full-time seat for a full season as well, after jumping into the Mercedes later on in last season, in season 9. So good stuff indeed, and looking forward for the Aston Martin team doing well.
Next off the board is German, one of our 3 champions for gold this season. German, the season 6 champion now, who really had a lot of retirements last season, but a lot of it was due to his interweb, wasn't it there? But unfortunately, if you don't get past the finish line, you don't get classified. And Indigo as well, who had a lot of setup problems and a lot of highs and lows at Indigo, but he did break through and win a race last season. 2 drivers, I think, Alex, are going to be at the sharp end of the field.
I have to agree with you there. I think, like I said, once they've got their issues, technical difficulties, I should say, sorted out, they will be they'll be flying. Now, looking forward to seeing hopefully get both of them get a couple of wins here and there throughout the season, potentially even take it further as well and go for the championship. And they're going to be racing for Guntermobile, which is also known as the Haas. So there we
That
go. Not sure they were a fan of that one, but there you go.
that Haas team is looking very stacked, isn't it? And goodness gracious me. Of course, looking forward to that indeed. Then I've forgotten what I was going to say. Oh, yes, of course, Gurman has got happy memories of Haas while winning the Silver Championship. Here is the former champion. It is Troy that, of course, relinquished his crown last season. But I think he is going to be back with vengeance here this season. Then Troy is that, of course, 4 wins last season, well, with 9 podiums there, but unfortunately, he had a lot of DNFs to open up the count. Oh my golly gosh, Alex! Season 8 champion, Season 9 champion in the same team. Good heavens!
It's a team of champions for sure, this one. We'll have to wait and see which constructor it is, but Lucas Percy and Troy in the same team then for Gold Season 10. You couldn't write it, so it is going to be fantastic indeed, and they're going to be, well, definitely 2 favourites for the title. And they're going to be in the prancing horse as well, then, to cap it all off. In the Ferrari, then, for Season 10, Troy and Lucas Percy.
Do you think there's going to be fireworks between the two drivers? Because we have seen them clash before on circuit then, and that is going to be very interesting. Do you think the drivers are going to be able to work together? I see a lot of picks stacking in that team.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how it's going to unfold. It might be a bit of a problem later on in the race, in some races, but we'll have to wait and see. But no, I'm hoping they'll keep it clean and keep it calm. But I think the pressure's going to be on then from the get go for those two.
Markey is next off the board. The most unluckiest driver last season. He was so quick in qualifying, but just couldn't get it together in the race then. Similar to Camera Racer then. Next off the board is going to be Liam, yeah, Alex. Then Liam, yeah, that very consistent performer in the Haas last season there. Of course, what do you make of that lineup? Excuse me.
Great pairing indeed. To be fair, I was very close to almost courtesing Marky again then by being his teammate. So I think he's probably happy with that he's not in the same team as me. But both drivers then have got great pace and great consistency as well. So I think when the luck is on their side, for Marky, in Marky's case anyway, it will turn around and they'll be up there for sure in the Mercedes outfit.
If I remember rightly, Markey, the amount of times that he was in a good position in a safety car just at the wrong time, and Liam, yeah, I'm sure Liam, yeah, if he stayed out one time, I'm sure he would have been on the podium, as well. Liam, yeah, did get a podium as well last season, but I'm sure it could have been a really good result. Alex, you're off the board first, then, and I must say, what are you expecting for this season? Whilst I'm trying to stop cough.
I'll just try my best. I think I'm very sorry to who my teammate is, to be honest, because they're going to be doing all the hard work for whichever team we're in. So yeah, I'll see how it goes and hope for the best.
Well, of course, I think, what does that song go? Like, hoping for the best for expected. Oh, Forever Young, isn't it? But we are forever young, aren't we, Alex? And it is Tango. Talking of songs, it takes 2 to Tango. And Tango returning back to gold as well. And I think that Tango's had some really good performances in the past there. But you and Tango, Alex, it takes 2 to Tango.
It takes 2 to tango, but like I was saying, he's going to be doing all the work for the AlphaTauri team then. So I'm not too keen on that one, but it's all right. But yeah, so unfortunately with Tango, then he's in the AlphaTauri. He's in with me as well, and he's going to be having to do all the hard work then for the team. Then, unfortunately, for season 10.
I quite like the AlphaTauri. I think I'm the only person that likes it. I don't know why. I think the flash of red actually makes it look quite nice. But there you go. That's just me. But I think that's a decent lineup, to be honest. There. And I do think that both of you drivers can certainly be a big thorn in the side of the Constructors' Championship. Boxtel, of course, a runner-up a few seasons ago, third last season. A terrible start last season in the Championship, Alex, there. I don't think he had any points up until Azerbaijan there, which do you reckon that ultimately cost him the Championship, do you reckon?
I reckon it definitely cost him the ability to go for the championship in the latter stages of the season as well. And blimey, then Immortal then is his teammate. That is one hell of a lineup indeed. You've got Lucas Percy and Troy in one team, and you've got Immortal and Geordie Boxtel in the other. So that is, I think, those are the 2 favourites in terms of the constructors already confirmed. I'm afraid for Gold Season 10. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Geordie get going from the first race this time in the Alpine outfit. So yeah, it's going to be Alpine then for Immortal and for Geordie Boxtel.
multiple Grand Prix winners there. Of course, Immortal, a former 100% Grand Prix, 100% winner as well, of course. And so, my word, then that is a super strong lineup. However, again, I have the same question though. There could be some fireworks in that team. And there's one downside about having two very hot-headed drivers then as well. Just remember 2016 with the Mercedes team. Sloth is next off the board then, a former Grand Prix winner. Very solid season last season for Sloth. He did go under the radar a bit then, but I think he'll be aiming for a bit more this season and maybe hit that 100-point mark there for Sloth then. And Toy Coin, he was incredible in F2. But and then of course when he got into a Formula One as well, he really stabilised the ship for the Alpha Tauri team. Him and Kez did a great job for Alpha Tauri last season, and a full season under the belt for Toy Coin. I think he's going to be certainly just outside the top challenger drivers, Alex.
Yeah, I think that's a great balance. Then a great pairing. Then those two for the Red Bull team. It looks like. So yeah, Sloth there with consistency as well, and I think Tonkon with the pace. If they can balance it out between the two of them, they'll be fighting for the top honors. I think in those two. So yeah, looking good indeed for the Red Bull team.
And we've just got four more drivers left then, which I am thanking my lucky stars because I've got a real bad tickle in my throat. I'm trying not to cough. Right then, up next then we have Coop, as in soup then, which that's Serious Mushroom's fault then. So I think I was kept calling him Cop to begin with, didn't I? Which is probably not a very good thing. Of course, Coop then, I think one of my drivers of the season last season for Gold really showed a very good level of maturity and a Ferrari that was really struggling. And of course, Ferrari have got two potential championship winning drivers this season. And Equals, I was saying Coop might be one of my drivers this season, but Equals, Grand Prix winner last season in Canada. Only thing that marred that race win was 45 on comms. But Equals, a Grand Prix winner, Alex, and really was a driver that was absolutely sublime last season.
Yeah, it was great to see him get promoted, of course, from silver as well, and really just took the gold like a duck to water, really, didn't he? So good to see from him. And hopefully, Coop can get himself in there as well. I think he was just a bit unlucky in some races also to miss out on the points here and there. So hopefully, in the Williams outfit, then Coop and Equaz then will really get some good points in silver seasons. Silver? Blimey, wrong one. In gold season 10.
Goodness gracious me, Alex. And now we're going on to our final team, which I'm not very good at this. I need to. I should have looked at it before. We got Chappers there, of course, who was driving for Ferrari last season. Joined the Ferrari after the Hungarian Grand Prix, so really didn't get a full season of it. So Chappers then hoping and showing some good results. And I think towards the end of the season as well, Chappers got a very good finish in, I think it was in Mexico, wasn't it, where he got sixth position. And Keza, I think Keza's going to be, I'm going to say it here and now, Alex, he's going to be the newest Grand Prix winner in gold next season. Do you agree with that?
I think he definitely can be, but I'm not going to commit that far, I'm afraid. Again, I'm not falling for your trap, but sorry. But Chappers then, like I said, good to have him in for a full season. Well, the beginning of the full season after joining in late in the Ferrari team last season as well. And Keza, like you said, Mr. Consistent from gold last season, Mr. P4. And they're going to be in the Alfa Romeo outfit then for the final constructor then for the gold season 10. I mean.
I do commit to everything. I usually die on my sword, don't I? No, is it no full on my sword? Yeah, something like that. But I always full on my sword. And there they are then. Ferrari looking outstanding, aren't they? Goodness me. I'm going to put a cheeky bet on them, I reckon. But potentially, should I also put a cheeky bet on the Alpine team as well? And Haas as well. My word there's some strong lineups there, Alex, as we count down towards the start of the championship in Silverstone. And how exciting is that then? That's really wet your whistle, hasn't it?
Yeah, looking forward to the season. And of course, like it says there, good luck everybody for season 10 of ALR.